Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Margaret, or Margaret Corleone Blues. Of course, named after the two loves of my life, Michael Corleone from The Godfather and Jake Blues from the Blues Brothers. We're going to talk about the Blues Brothers later. So today we're going to be talking about two of my favorite subjects in the entire world, movies and emo pop punk music from the 2000s. Specifically Fall Out Boy and all the movie references they make in all of their songs and all of their music videos. I am former 2000s emo child. I'm still an emo child at heart. I was a huge fan of Fall Out Boy. I love My Chemical Romance. I mean, I still love all these people. My first ever concert was My Chemical Romance's Black Parade tour. I still listen to like most of that music, and Fall Out Boy has always been the band that has been my favorite and has always stuck with me throughout teenage to adult, and just every year of my entire life since I was 12 years old. I've been a massive Fall Out Boy fan. I just relate to their lyrics so much. I feel like a lot of their songs, anything that I'm going through, anything that I've been dealing with, I can always find a song that fits how I feel, and they've gotten through. I love them eternally. I will always love them. Something that Fall Out Boy and I have in common is that we love movies, and we love making movie references. And Fall Out Boy does a ton of that in a lot of their songs and their music videos. And I've been wanting to make this video for a really long time, and I thought this was the perfect time now that they're starting to promote their new album, So Much for Stardust. And a lot of the promo for their new album has a lot of movie references, but we're going to talk about that later. So today we're going to go through all their songs, all their albums, and all their music videos. Well, not all, but we're going to talk about the ones that have movie references in them. I've seen a couple videos where people do like clips of the quotes and stuff they do, but I never see a full list. It's usually just like, oh, here's some of Fall Out Boy's movie references, blah 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 blah. So I really tried to put every movie reference that Fall Out Boy has ever made in this video, because I always see a few missing, and it always makes me angry. So if I missed any, please tell me in the comments. So let's get into this. We're just going to go in order by the album, and then we're going to go into music videos, and then we are going to talk about Folie A Deux. So first we're going to start out with Fall Out Boy's album, Evening Out With Your Girlfriend. And the first song on this list is Honorable Mention. The chorus of the song says, I can be your John Cusack. Now that's a reference to the movie Say Anything, when John Cusack goes and he holds up the speaker outside of the girl's window, and In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel plays. Next is Pretty in Punk. Pretty in Punk is a play on the John Hughes movie Pretty in Pink. The song also has themes of unrequited love, as so does the movie, with Ducky pining over Claire and all that stuff. Poor John Cryer, he never gets the girls. And the next song is Parker Lewis Can't Lose, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Parker Lewis Can't Lose was a sitcom from the 90s. I've actually never heard of it until I started doing research for this video. My personal favorite 90s sitcom was The Nanny, but you know, that's like my favorite show ever. But yeah, Parker Lewis Can't Lose. It was a high school comedy, so I'm guessing like Pete and Patrick were probably the right age range of fans for that. If you hear things in the background, it's probably my cat like destroying everything in my room. And that's it for that album. Now we're going to move on to Take This to Your Grave. And there's actually only one song on this list from that album, and that is Tell That Mick He Just Made My List of Things to Do Today. This is probably my favorite Fall Out Boy song ever. And it's from one of my favorite movies ever. I have a poster of it over here. Yeah, this is from Rushmore, Wes Anderson, starring Jason Schwartzman. This is Max Fisher. And the song's all about revenge and just feeling betrayed and just pure anger. And I feel like this just reminds me of Max's story arc, where he's just like just causing chaos and destruction because he's just like feels so betrayed by everybody. And he goes into the teacher's classroom and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to say thank you for wrecking my life. Next, moving on to the album From Under the Cork Tree. And the first song on this list from that album is Of All the Gin Joints in All the World. And this comes from the movie Casablanca. The full quote is, Of all the gin joints in all the towns and all the world, and she walks into mine. I have not seen Casablanca in a really long time. I need to rewatch it. I think it's turning 80 this year. And this movie has a ton of iconic quotes. Play It Again, Sam. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. We'll always have Paris. There's so many good quotes in this movie, and like all of them are on AFI's top quotes of all time. This is number 67 on that list. And next one is Nobody Puts Baby in the Corner, which is of course the line from Dirty Dancing. This is towards the end of the movie when when they're at the talent show, and Baby, played by Jennifer Grey. I forgot her name for a second. She's like sitting in the corner with her family, and Patrick Swayze comes over and he's like, nobody puts baby in the corner. He pulls her on stage and they do their dance and their famous jump to I Had the Time of My Life. And this is number 98 on the AFI 100 quotes list, since I just mentioned that. Next is Champagne for My Real Friends, Real Pain for My Sham Friends. This comes from the movie 25th Hour, and it stars Edward Norton, and it's about him trying to party it up with his friends before he's supposed to go to jail. And this movie got a lot of praise for showing a very realistic post 9/11 New York City. And I'm a huge fan of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, so of course I had to mention, they mentioned this movie in an episode of Better Call Saul. It's in the first season, and it's when Jimmy takes over the Kettleman's case from Kim, and he says that the case is like 25th Hour meets Maude and Ned Flanders. Next is a little less 16 Candles, a little more Touch Me. 16 Candles is, of course, the John Hughes movie starring Molly Ringwald. This song was originally supposed to be called A Little Less Molly Ringwald, A Little More Samantha Fox. And Samantha Fox is the singer of the song Touch Me, so they changed it to a Molly Ringwald movie and a Samantha Fox song. And finally, from Under the Cork Tree is Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying, do your best to save the scene and stop going to shows. And this is from very, very famous quote from one of the best movies of all time, undisputed, Shawshank Redemption. And this quote originally comes from the book that this was based on, Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. So this quote was created by the king of horror himself, Stephen King. Now moving on to Infinity on High. Okay, we might have a visitor. Hi, Draco. What do you have to say? Next is Thanks for the Memories. One of the lines in the chorus is, he tastes like you, only sweeter. And this is a reference to the quote from the movie Closer. And the quote is, it tastes like you, but sweeter. And Panic at the Disco is 2 songs from the very first album, But It's Better If You Do and Lying Is the Most Fun a Girl Can Have Without Taking Her Clothes Off are also both quotes from this movie. Draco, please leave. Next, I had to mention Bang the Doldrums was actually originally written for Shrek. DreamWorks asked Fall Out Boy to write a song for Shrek. They came up with Bang the Doldrums, and DreamWorks was like, no, the song's not appropriate. You either have to change the lyrics or not going to be on Shrek. And I said, not going to be on Shrek, let's put it on Infinity on High. I love that song. That's my favorite song on the album. Next, moving on to the album Folie A Deux. First up is Disloyal Order of Water Buffaloes. And I remember when this album came out, I was like, what in the heck is a disloyal order of a water buffalo? It actually comes from the Flintstones. It comes from the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes, which is like the gentleman's club that Fred and Barney are a part of. Next is Coffees for Closers. Coffees for Closers, it comes from Glengarry Glen Ross. This is said by Alec Baldwin's character Blake, and this movie was based on a play, but the character and the quote were actually both written for the movie. And of course, my husband Al Pacino was in this. He actually got nominated for an Oscar. However, he lost to Gene Hackman, who won for Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. But that was the year Al Pacino won for Scent of a Woman, so we are okay with that. And next is Tiffany Blues. The lyrics to the chorus says, oh baby, you're classic like a little black dress. And of course, what is more classic than Audrey Hepburn's Little Black Dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's? I mean, Tiffany Blues, like Tiffany Blue, and Little Black Dress, like, yeah. It's pretty obvious to me. Okay, next we're moving on to Save Rock and Roll. There's only one on this album, sadly, and that is the line, you are what you love, not who loves you, from the song Save Rock and Roll. I love that song. Love Elton John singing in that song. And this comes from the movie Adaptation starring Nicolas Cage, and the quote is, you are what you love, not what loves you. You are what you love, not what loves you. And moving on to the album American Beauty, American Psycho. The album title and the song title of that same name are both referring to the movies American Beauty and American Psycho. Fall Out Boy loves their juxtapositions. And next is the song The Kids Aren't Alright. This one's a teeny bit of a reach, but I'm going to go with the reach. And the opening line of the song is Stuck in the Jet Wash. And that is a potential reference to Top Gun. The jet wash is like the turbulence that comes off a plane, and that's what Maverick and Goose get stuck in Iceman's jet wash, and then they have to eject, and then boom, Goose hits his head, R.I.P. And like, just listen to this song. It's very much about like a friendship ending, kind of, or feel like somebody dying is almost what it feels like to me. It very much reminds me of Goose and Maverick. I was very disappointed they didn't play it in Top Gun Maverick. I'm just kidding, but that would have been cool. Next is the song Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman is obviously a very famous actress who is in the movies Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, and the song references both of those movies. The line in the chorus, she wants to dance like Uma Thurman, Pulp Fiction, Bury Me Till I Confess, Kill Bill. When I saw Fall Out Boy in concert, they played this song, and they had like screens on the back, like behind them, playing clips, and they actually had like a mishmash of scenes from Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill playing behind them, which was really cool. And then also like the do 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 is a sample of the Munsters theme song. And last one is Immortals. So this one isn't like a reference, but it was featured in the movie Big Hero 6. Next, on to the album Mania. First up is the song Stay Frosty, Royal Milk Tea. And Stay Frosty is a reference to aliens. And Corporal Hicks says it. Stay Frosty is a military term that means like stay alert, stay cool, all that good stuff. So he says it a lot in the movie. I've seen a lot of people saying that no, that's not an alien reference. However, there is another alien reference in the album. So we're going to get to that. So I think it definitely is. I've only seen the first Aliens. Sigourney Weaver's my girl. Love her. Next is The Lost of the Real Ones. This still one doesn't have any direct references in it, but Pete Wentz has said that this was actually inspired by the movie Interstellar. And then in general, this song just sounds like a superhero love song. Just like listen to the song and like, yeah, this song is like a love song for superheroes, I feel like. Okay, next up is Wilson. I feel like this has the most references of every Fall Out Boy song. Wilson, obviously, Wilson from Castaway. That's Tom Hanks's volleyball. And then the chorus is, I hope the roof flies off and we get blown out into space. Now that's another Wes Anderson reference. It's a reference to the movie Moonrise Kingdom. Bill Murray's character at one point in the movie says, I hope the roof blows off and I get sucked up into space. Referencing their fellow Chicago in Bill Murray. And then this one I always see not mentioned, and it really disappoints me. During the bridge of the song, there's a line that says, if I hadn't done this thing, I think I'd be a medicine man so that I could get high on my own supply whenever I can. And that is a reference to Scarface, one of my favorite movies ever. One of the very famous lines of that movie is, don't get high on your own supply. Now, one more thing I wanted to say about the song. I've seen a lot of people saying that the line in the chorus, I'll stop wearing black when they make a darker color, is a reference to the Addams Family. And Wednesday says it. I have not been able to find a source for this anywhere. Every time I look it up, it's always a reference to the song. I have not been able to find a video, a clip, like even like a picture of the scene. So I don't know if it's, yeah. If anybody, I didn't want to mention it because I cannot directly find it. So if you could, if anybody knows like exactly like what Addams Family it's in, and or have a clip, like, please tell me. And finally, Bishop Knife Trick. We're back to aliens, and this is exactly why I think the Stay Frosty is a reference to aliens. Lance Henriksen's character, Bishop, does a knife trick where he puts your hand out, and then he, like, does a knife really fast between your fingers. He does it to Bill Paxton's character. And, yeah, it's a famous scene, so that's what this is referring to. Yeah, so I'd be surprised if Stay Frosty was not a reference to aliens, because it would be weird if they had Stay Frosty, which is a kind of famous quote from that movie, and had another reference to that movie, and it was not a reference. So I've seen people being like, oh, Pete just likes that quote, he says it all the time. He probably says it because of aliens. Like, come on, guys. That's like all their official albums so far. So now we're gonna go with their extra songs. First off, they did a song for the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, but I'm sorry, Ray Parker Jr. You can't compete with Ray Parker Jr., that's all I'm saying. Next is Alpha Dog. I love that song. One of the lines in the chorus is, I can almost see the wizard through the curtain. That is, of course, referencing the Wizard of Oz and how the wizard is really a simple man behind a curtain. Next is You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, Fall Out Boy's Christmas song. And this is, of course, a reference to A Christmas Story, one of the most famous movie quotes of all time, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. They did something a little clever with this title. Instead of spelling Yule like Y-O-U apostrophe L-L, they spelled it like Yule, Y-U-L-E, like Christmas. I thought that was really cute. And next, one of my favorite Fall Out Boy songs ever, From Now On, We Are Enemies. This is a reference to the movie Amadeus, and the song was actually inspired by Mozart. And this is what Salieri says when he is turning his back on God because he is jealous of Mozart. Okay, so now on to their music videos. First up is Dance Dance. This features Fall Out Boy playing at homecoming dance, and they also play nerd versions of themselves, and this is a reference to the movie Revenge of the Nerds, especially a dance that Pete does during the music video is a reference to a dance in the movie. I've actually not seen this movie. I've heard it aged really badly, but I'm also a really big Animal House fan, and that did not age very well. So next is A Little Less 16 Candles, A Little More Touch Me. The music video is about Fall Out Boy being like in a gang of vampires, and it's very much based on the Lost Boys. Like, just watch this, watch the Lost Boys. Like, come on. Next is America's Sweethearts. I thought this music video was so weird when I was younger. This album came out when I was like 14 or something, Folie A Deux. And I thought this was so weird. I recently rewatched it, and it's cool as hell. And they're just like in like this makeup with like these weird animations, and they're on like a carousel that's just really, it feels like an acid trip. It's wild. It's really cool though. The animation and just like the trippiness of it, all that stuff was inspired by Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And next is Headfirst Slide into Cooperstown on a Bad Bet. So that song is not a movie reference, but it is a pop culture reference to sports. It's about Pete Rose, who was a Cincinnati Reds player who used to slide headfirst to the bases, and he was not allowed in the Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame, because he did a lot of gambling. The music video is actually called A Weekend at Pete Rose's, and it's based on Weekend at Bernie's, the movie where they're like carrying the dead body around and making him do stuff. So that's what they're doing. It's Brendan and Spencer from Panic at the Disco. They find Pete Wentz's dead body, and they're just dragging him around Santa Monica Pier, taking him on roller coasters, and all that crazy stuff. Oh, Fall Out Boy in their music videos. And the one I am most excited to talk about, the Phoenix video in Young Blood Chronicles. There is a Blues Brothers reference. Yeah! Blues Brothers. Yeah. So Patrick Stump, you know, he's carrying the briefcase handcuffed to him, and he has a little fob tattoo right here. So, any Blues Brothers fan... Okay, so first off, Patrick is from Cook County, Illinois, and that's where Jake and Elwood are from. John Belushi's from Chicago. Dan Aykroyd is from Canada, but Jake and Elwood Blues are their orphanage, St. Helens of the Blessed Shroud, is in Cook County, Illinois, and that is where Patrick Stump is from. They are trying to get to the Cook County Assessor's Office so they can pay off the taxes so that the orphanage doesn't close. And I love that movie so much and I want to cry. So yeah, anyway, Patrick is carrying the briefcase handcuffed to himself. Any Blues Brothers fan knows that Elwood always has the briefcase full of blues handcuffed to him. And yeah, he always has it. He has it in the movie. He has it. They did it every time they did a live concert. They always came out. This is how they came out with Elwood having the brief. Yeah, I'm really excited. They always had the briefcase full of blues handcuffed to Elwood, and then Jake would unlock the handcuffs. Any Blues Brothers fan is gonna see somebody with a music-related briefcase handcuffed to them, and see a Blues Brothers, and he's also wearing a fedora and a black jacket, and then he is wearing glasses, but they're like the Wayfarer Blues Brothers shape. I'm way too excited about this. Now, everybody knows Jake and Elwood have their names tattooed on their hands, but they also have a cross with like 3 beams coming out of it tattooed right here on their hands, and that's in the exact same position as Patrick's fob tattoo in the video. Now we are going to move on to talking about Fob 8. So Fob announced that they were going to be doing Fob 8 in one of the Chicago newspapers, I think the Chicago Tribune. It said Fob 8, then it said, if you build it, they will come. And that is a reference to the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come. So then they started doing more promotion, and they started using the terms of Pink Seashell Beach to also promote the album. And this is a reference to the movie of Reality Bites. There's basically a whole thing with Ethan Hawke's character in that movie where he talks about how his dad was dying from cancer, and he gave him a pink seashell, and he's like, this is the meaning of life. He's like, what in the hell is this? And then his dad's like, life is just a bunch of meaningless crap, and it's just random. Like, nothing makes sense, and things just happen. Yeah. So they finally announced on January 18th the album was officially going to be called So Much for Stardust. And they released the song Love from the Other Side. They released Heartbreak Feels So Good. So somebody was able to figure out the names of the tracks on the album, and there's a couple movie references on them. One of them is Heaven, Iowa, which is another Field of Dreams reference. Ray Liotta, when he says, "Is this heaven?" No, it's Iowa. And then they actually have a song on the album called Pink Seashell Beach, and it says Ethan Hawke's going to be featured on the song. So I don't know if he's going to be singing on the song, if they're going to have him like talk a quote from the movie. So I don't know, that's going to be interesting to see. The album's coming out March 24th, so yeah, Fall Out Boy. Well, another thing that I wanted to mention is that Pete Wentz has been wearing a lot of Heat shirts, the movie Heat starring Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm not sure if this is a reference, if this like has anything to do with the album, if they're going to be doing like a Heat themed music video. Yeah, I have no idea, but I was really excited. So I hope it comes to some fruition. So both of the music videos they've released so far all have movie references in them. And first, Love from the Other Side references Edward Scissorhands, and it starts out with Pete in like old person makeup in this like a snowy cabin, and his granddaughter wants him to tell him a story, and it's very much like the beginning of Edward Scissorhands with Winona Ryder and the snow. Then he pulls out a storybook, and it's kind of like Princess Bride, and then it shows Fall Out Boy like going on like this really like kind of like medieval-y adventure, and they said that it was inspired by Princess Bride and The Never Ending Story. They were getting ready to release Heartbreak Feels So Good, and I'm like, I really hope this has music video I really hope this has movie references in it. I really hope, I was just feeling that there was gonna be a Blues Brothers reference in it. I was just feeling it. I'm like, they're gonna do a Blues Brothers reference. I don't know why, but I just felt it. I felt it in my soul. I just felt in my soul. I was like, there's going to be a Blues Brothers reference. There's going to be a Blues Brothers reference in the new music video. I don't know how I felt it, but I knew in my soul. I knew deep in my soul. But anyway, yes, there was a Blues Brothers reference in it. Yay. So just the entire concept of this is that there's a whole mob of people chasing after Fall Out Boy while they're on the way to a concert. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it does. That's what happens in the Blues Brothers. Like, everybody's after them while they're trying to get to a concert to save their orphanage. Like I talked about earlier. Everybody's after Fall Out Boy. And there's one very, very blatant reference. One of my favorite scenes of the movie, just because I love the comedic juxtaposition of chaoticness versus calmness. There is a scene right towards the end, just when they're about to get to the Cook County Assessor's office, and they, like, grab Steven Spielberg and like, here's some money, blah blah blah. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, yeah. So everybody's chasing them. They're running really fast, and then they get an elevator, and they just stand very calmly. They have their hands folded, and elevator music's playing. It's an elevator version of Frank Sinatra's "The Girl from Ipanema." So Fall Out Boy is running from all these people, and then they get an elevator at one point, and it just stops. Everything's very quiet. They're just standing there very calmly. And it's very much like the scene in the Blues Brothers, and I would bet everything that I am that it is a Blues Brothers reference. And then also, Patrick and Andy are wearing the exact Blues Brothers Wayfarer sunglasses. So that is it for today. Those are all the Fall Out Boy movie and movie references and all their songs and music videos. Let me know what your favorite Fall Out Boy song is. Let me know what your favorite reference they make is. Love the Blues Brothers references. Like, come on, that's my favorite movie ever. Of course, those are going to be my favorite. I'm really excited for the new album. I don't know if there's going to be more movie references in their album than they've already shown. If there's going to be another music video, I might do a part 2 if there's a lot more to talk about later. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will like and comment and subscribe and all that good stuff if you liked it. And of course, little Jake and I say bye. Okay, I'm back because I finished editing that video and realized I forgot 2 important references in their 2 most recent songs. First off, in Heartbreak Feels So Good, the line is their word for Bad Miracles is a reference to the movie Nope, the Jordan Peele movie that came out last year. Yeah, the line there is their word for Bad Miracles. It is a reference to the line in Nope. Bad Miracles is their word for that. And then, of course, I was going to kick myself if I didn't mention the Ghostbusters reference in Love from the Other Side, which I totally forgot to include. And I had to make this really quick, that I didn't even bother doing a setup just because I had to add this in really quick at the end of the video. And Love from the Other Side, the whole concept of the other side of the apocalypse is a reference to Ghostbusters when Peter says to Ray, "See you on the other side, Ray." And in that music video, when they are fighting the wolf and they use their instruments to like blast the wolf, That is a reference to the crossing the stream scenes from Ghostbusters when they blast Gozer and finally, like, right before my boy Stay Puft shows up. So yeah, I just had to include the Nope references. I really want to see Nope. I haven't seen it yet. I keep meaning to watch it and I keep forgetting. I've heard it's really good. So remind me to watch it. And of course I love Ghostbusters. Anyway, that's finally it. Thanks for sticking around. I had to bring up those. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite Fall Out Boy song, your favorite album, your favorite band member, what you're most excited for about this new album, if you're going to see them on tour. So yeah, have a great day. And of course, little Jake and I say bye. Where's little Jake? He's somewhere. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. Bye.